What is up, my Sabronis? This is the Sabo Standard Podcast. I am Taylor Sabo, as usual, coming to you with number 6 of this. Just going over a great week of college football, NFL football. No big rants today. Nothing major in the news besides just kind of the results of some of these really big games that we had and some of these really big games coming up. What a great weekend of college football that we're going to have this last weekend. Some really fun matchups overall. Some really shocking results. NFL absolutely delivered some really just wild endings to a lot of crazy games this week. And so that's what we're going to kind of recap in this episode. But before we do that, just general housekeeping type of things, going over, those pre-game rituals we like to talk about. First off, again, thanks to anybody that's watched this, supports it, listens to it, shares it. I just appreciate every single person that always says hey, I'm listening to it tonight. The football boys, some of those boys at Marion Harding, they found it, they're seeing it. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks every time. It really does mean a lot. Share it with somebody that loves football. Okay, if you're seeing it, if you're hearing it, if you watch it on YouTube or TikTok, give it a share for me. Just help me, grow it brick by brick. Last week, I'll be the first to admit when something kind of sucks, and I think last week's kind of sucked. And they always talk about how Kelly's hey, your intro's too loud, and so bring the volume down. The whole volume comes down. It's been a mess. Just trying to figure all this out day by day, episode by episode. And last week didn't get any TikToks made about it. Got uploaded on YouTube, but we were a day late, $1 short originally. And tonight we were also doing this on Tuesday. But part of that was just because last night's game, we had to wait the Lions and Ravens game. But the goal is to grow this. I want to grow this as best I can, as big as I can, as much as I can. Again, with it being layered under a lot of bigger priorities. But with time, with patience, with your support, we'll get there. We'll get to a place where, easy to find a schedule, easy to be able to, grow it enough to where, delivering what people want to hear. With that, I'm still really working hard on getting the history series, the sports history series coming and going. I put a lot of time into, some ideas with it, and just need to want two things. One, record them, get them all edited, posted. I don't know if I'm going to do a video with them or not. Still trying to figure out those logistics, but edit it. And two, we need Kelly to get the logo made. Kelly's my logo person. Okay, so, you see Kelly or, anything like that, just be hey, logo, because I ask her and I'm still waiting. So, but just kidding. Just when that gets done and those get recorded, that will be a whole new series based on within the realm, the Sabo Standard realm. But a whole new show will be separate for everybody to subscribe to. Just a different feel of what we want to do. That is looking back on key moments in sports history, whereas this is recapping, every week, talking about big stories, within the realm of football, basketball, those things. Right now, we're in a very football-dominated time of the year, and that's what it is every single week. That's what's going to continue to be until we get to NBA games, and we'll fit whatever we need to in within those discussions. Again, still waiting on guest for the first guest eventually and the second guest eventually, but that will be a staple going forward. Though that would hopefully be a record on Thursday, get out Friday, but try to deliver what people want. And so again, thanks for the support. Big week of college football, NFL coming up. Let's recap last week. Let's still look forward to next week, and we will get through this one short and sweet. And with all that being said, let's get into it.
Samuel cuts it back. Ohio State wins. Hannah steps into it. Pass is caught. Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good!
The standard is the standard. That's our motto.
All right, let's start with our great sport, college football. Some really great matchups on paper and some really shocking events overall. I think like the Indiana-Illinois game. I expected it to be close. I thought Illinois was going to win it. And Indiana just completely blows them out. Destroys them. Indiana might be better than last year. That quarterback is really good. Miami, Florida. Like Florida kept it pretty close for a while. Miami pulled away at the end. Is that kind of what we expected? Probably. Is Miami that good? I still don't think so, but they got them. They moved them up in their rankings. There's a lot of respect for Miami now. And would I put them in my top 5? Probably not. I still think like obviously Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon has really surprised me. LSU is really good. Florida State deserves to be in that top 5. There's a lot of really good teams still, and I just don't know how good Miami is. Beating up a Florida team that Lagway is probably going to be done. If I had to put some shackles on it, I would say that the chance of Lagway playing another game is less than the chance of Lagway not playing another game for them. Hurt right now, probably under the transfer portal when that opens up. I just don't see a way that they respond. I don't see a way that they win a lot of games. And I don't think there's a way that he comes back and plays for him anymore. Billy's probably gone. That team that I felt going into the season had a lot of talent just feels bad, really bad. There just doesn't seem to be anything positive that they can do. There's nothing positive about that program. They're going to lose their coach. They're going to lose a good quarterback. How do you turn this thing around in a conference that is tough, that week by week you're going to play really good teams, that you just can't build a foundation of 7-5 to build something because there's not 7 just I can go in there and be better than you type of games. Florida's got a big uphill battle. Texas, finally had a big game, big win. Arch finally looked good, played well overall. Do I still think Texas is really good? Yes. Do I still think Texas has a lot to prove? Yes. How good are they? I don't know. Like they have so much potential to be really good, to make a deep playoff run, but they have to start looking better overall. A win versus a very bad Sam Houston team is that first step. Again, I talked about Indiana, Illinois. The quarterback Mendoza, 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns. They just dominated Illinois. No chance from the very beginning. That place is rocking. Might have been the biggest game in Indiana football history, or biggest win at least. But Illinois blew their shot at hosting game day in a few weeks because I just don't see it. I don't see a one-loss Illinois unless they really respond these next few weeks and hold their own. I just don't see a point where you're having one-loss Illinois hosting Ohio State and game day going there. Not like it really matters for Illinois. You got a lot of football ahead of you. You got to win some games. But that was one that they needed to win to make the playoff this year. I just don't see them getting a path unless they upset Ohio State and win out. And then Indiana, they really might be better than last year. That's a good football team that's going to win a lot of games. Do not be shocked if they beat Oregon and or Penn State. 11-1 Indiana with a loss to 1 Oregon or 1 Penn State. One of those ones, they're going to be in because that team is good. They're dangerous. They can beat people. And I don't know how much longer does Cignetti have there, because besides losing to Ohio State and Notre Dame in 2 years, the 2 teams that were in national championship last year, doesn't do a lot of losing. Oklahoma, Auburn. Oh, man, I am so sick for Oklahoma. John Mateer has played so well for that team. Hand surgery, he's going to be out for a month. He's going to miss the Red River Shootout, which is like October 11th is what I think. I looked it up. I mean, that was crucial to know that information. Yeah, October 11th. He's not going to be there for it. There's just no way that they say within a month that he's back in time for that. I thought Oklahoma had a chance to win that before. I just don't see a path now with him not being healthy, with him not being there. That dude has just absolutely put Oklahoma on his back. He has played so well, and he's such a crucial part of that offense. Just sucks for them. And then, the schedule doesn't get any easier after that. South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Bama, Missouri, LSU to close it out. I mean, that's a very hard stretch of games. If he can be back by South Carolina and the one loss is Texas, but I just don't see where it's only one loss between Ole Miss, Tennessee, Bama, Missouri, LSU. Just a 2-loss Oklahoma team get in, maybe. maybe without Mateer versus Texas, they give him the benefit of the doubt and it would put him in. But yeah, it makes me sick. It makes me so sad for him. I really hope that he gets a chance to be healthy and play their way in. That's a fun team I want to watch. Georgia Tech is going to make some noise in the ACC, boys. Haynes King, the Tech Tebow. I mean, that is a good football team. And I know their biggest win is against Clemson, who Clemson is just bad. But they are really, really good. Texas Tech, big 34-10 win over Utah. Dominated the fourth quarter. I was scoring 24-7. Utah gave up a lot of points at home. They never do that. And Texas Tech might be for like that. Texas Tech, the Big 12 is so hard. I mean, beginning of the season, I said Kansas State and Arizona State. Both those picks, trash can. Then I said, Iowa State has a chance. And Iowa State's good, but Texas Tech might be that best team. Utah might be the second best team, and they just got spanked by 24 points. That conference is so tough to judge. The conference is so tough to have any idea. Michigan, Nebraska. Michigan went into Nebraska. They beat them 30-27. It just felt like a game that Nebraska should have won. They had a chance at the end. They would have got to stop, got the ball back, maybe had the opportunity to win, and Michigan earned that first down. Michigan's 3-1. Michigan's not an awful team. But Raiola and the Huskers, that's a game that they should have won. It's really disappointing that they didn't. Missouri, 29-20 over South Carolina. Missouri is solid. Missouri is a good football team. I know South Carolina with a hot start and then hasn't been as good. Sellers, they're not winning as much as what they thought, but they have a lot of opportunities to upset some teams going forward. And Missouri, again, it's the SEC. There's going to be good games pretty much almost every single week for them. We're pulling up Missouri's schedule. UMass, Bama, Auburn, Vanderbilt, A&M, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Arkansas. So they avoid the LSU. They avoid the Texas. They avoid the Georgia. If you can upset Bama, you can upset Texas A&M, maybe lose to Oklahoma at the end. I mean, 11-1, you're in contention. These are the type of teams that are in contention to win these big games and make the playoff and be part of it. Oklahoma State, real quick, they played obviously Friday night, lost to Tulsa 19-12. And today, Mike Gundy out of Oklahoma State, been there for 21 years. Alumni of that place took over after Les Miles. Had some really good teams. And the teams that you didn't expect to be really good were the years that he would go 10-2, 11-1. And some of the years where you expect him to be, really good and could be contenders, they just weren't. Is he going to get another job? I don't know. Does he want to coach ever again? I think he's a good coach. I just think the time in Oklahoma State, it was over. And who Oklahoma State goes and gets now, how big of a name can they go get? Is that a name that, is Jim Knowles? He was at Oklahoma State before he came to Ohio State. I know he's from Pennsylvania. I know Penn State was that dream job, but now you have an opportunity to go be a head coach somewhere that you're familiar with, somewhere you were at for a good amount of time. Or are they going for a bigger name? Are they going for the Cignetti? Does Cignetti leave Indiana for Oklahoma State? No. But is that type of guy that you're going to go get to replace a guy that was there for a long time, a guy that was a foundational piece of your program's history, being a player there, being a coordinator there, being a head coach there, and he's been part of that program for forever. And to not have him there anymore just fits into the Oklahoma State, way of life so well. It's going to be definitely interesting to see how they go after this. Syracuse beat down Clemson 34-21. Clemson is just not very good, and it's honestly kind of hilarious. And I had them in my preseason. In my preseason episode, I had them making the playoff. I had them at winning the ACC. That it could be further from the truth. And guys like Joel Klatt, and Joel Klatt's really smart, really good at his job. He had them win the whole thing. So this is just a shock to everybody. This is last year's Florida State. It might be even worse. Florida State, I don't think anybody projected to win a national championship. People were picking Clemson to win one. UCF 34-9. I mean, it's been a long time since UCF has lost a home game or lost a game in general with Scott Frost as their head coach. Been a long time since they've lost a game with him at the helm. You know, the rest of these games, nothing super crazy that stood out. We kind of went through all the big ones, the big matchups of the week. But this next week, this is one of the best weeks of college football this year, and it's one of the best weeks in college football in the last 5 years. I mean, this is one of the marquee ones. This is as good as it gets, and it starts with big games on Friday night, Saturday, and it just gets us perfectly set for a great weekend of football all around. So Friday, Florida State, Virginia. Okay, they go to Virginia. Can Virginia get an upset over Florida State? Virginia's playing okay. They're 3-1. That is a 6.5 points for Florida State. I mean, it's really not that much in the realm of college football with a team as good as what Florida State's been. Do I think they win it? Yes, but gosh, man, that's a game that Virginia can go get. And they even got TCU and Arizona State. TCU's undefeated still at this point, 3-0. Arizona State's 3-1. That one lost Mississippi State, a game that they should have had. They need this win. They have won any chance of getting back to the playoff. Arizona State, it's just 2.5. Just 2.5 for them. That's a fun, interesting game, fun matchup. And that's Friday night, 9 o'clock on Fox. Saturday, you got USC, Illinois. USC, this is a big opportunity for them to really have a good start. Mayava's played well throughout the season, 9 touchdowns total. He needs this win. Illinois, though, needs this win as well. Like I said, if there's any chance that they want of making that playoff, taking that next step, they have to respond from this loss. They have to win this game. This was the one that, like, hey, this was the trap, and obviously they lost Indiana. Do they lose 2 in a row? I think so. I think USC might win this one. Notre Dame, Arkansas. Arkansas has to win some games or their coach is going to be done, just like Gundy. Notre Dame needs some wins because they're 1-2. Obviously, that slow start. I think Notre Dame gets it done. They go into Arkansas and beat them. And you know, as you're looking through the schedule, we really start some good conference play. I mean, you got the Duke, Syracuse, you got Cincinnati, Kansas, you got UCF, Kansas State, Bowling Green, Ohio. There is some good, fun games. And then we get to the 3:30. You get Ohio State, Washington. That spread is just going down and down and down. Started off like 10.5, then 9.5, 8.5 now. This is 12 o'clock over there in Washington. I know when this came out, I made a big deal about it, about Ohio State not getting the big games. And I know there's Oregon and Penn State that night. And it's a shame of the schedule makers to put Ohio State and Washington in the same week as you get Oregon and Penn State. Obviously, I think that Oregon and Penn State deserves the night game more than Ohio State and Washington does. The fact of it is that, you know, we get this big game. Washington's not ranked, and they should be. Washington is a top 25 team. If this was an SEC team, they would have them in that spot. But it's a trap game for Ohio State. I think Ohio State knows it's a trap game. Coming off a bye, Ryan Day's never lost. A regular season bye. Julian Saints played well the last 2 weeks. I think they put him in a position of he's aired the ball out quite a bit. Now let's get into a game plan. Let's be tested for the first time in quite a few weeks. Go into Washington, cover that spread, play competitive football, end up walking away with a win. And I expect a big game from Jeremiah Smith. I expect a big game from the defense. But this is a fun game, and I'm glad Ohio State is getting that challenge early on. And it's not just been a bunch of cakewalks, more cakewalks in a row after having the Grambling and the OU and the bye back to back to back. Like, it's time for some big boy football again. 3:30, got LSU, Ole Miss, 4 Ole Miss, or 13 Ole Miss, 4 LSU. LSU really offensively has not been great. This is the type of game where they go into Oxford where they lose. I think that they get it done. I think LSU is good. They have to show some resiliency. They have to put up some points. Mississippi, Ole Miss is actually the favorite on here, 1.5. LSU is good. They are going to go in there, and they're going to get that win. UCLA, Northwestern, I'm just looking at this. As I'm scrolling through, I mean, what a doozy. Oh, UCLA and Northwestern. I mean, this might be the time that Nico finally gets his first win. They need that bad. They need that desperately over there. Tennessee, Mississippi State. Tennessee, They lost, the heartbreaker to Georgia a few weeks ago. Mississippi State's 4-0. They're feeling good. They're unranked still, but if they get this win, they'll definitely be ranked. Tennessee needs a big response. Tennessee 7.5. I think Tennessee covers. I think they win big. Give me Tennessee by 17. And then, the two big ones that night. I mean, I just went through so many great games, and we still have two more big ranked unranked. We'll start with the Bama Georgia. Georgia 3.5 favorites over Bama. This one is in Georgia. I think that Georgia gets it done. I think that Georgia is the better football team. Do I think they're a great football team? No. Do I think that ranking 5 is appropriate for them? Sure. Do I still think they should have lost to Tennessee? Yes. Do I think they're going to lose games this year? Yes. Do I think it's going to be to Bama? No. Would I be absolutely shocked if Bama won? Not at all. It just feels like everybody's going to pick Georgia, and Bama's going to go in there and get it done. And Bama's early season loss to Florida State's going to be okay, Florida State was a really good team. Bama's a really good team. And people are going to go back on the Bama winning the SEC train. And if they win this game, they put themselves in a good position to be able to compete for it going forward. That loss just doesn't feel as bad anymore. It's like Texas and Ohio State. All your goals are in front of you still. Bama needs this one. Georgia gets it done, but I'm not surprised if Bama does. And then Oregon, Penn State in Happy Valley at night, whiteout, Penn State 3.5. This is so hard because Drew Aller has been bad this year. I saw something like his QBR is so low that he's better off if he took the ball and threw it in the ground every single possession. His QBR would be higher than the way he's playing football right now. Oregon has put up a lot of points. Again, they haven't played anybody, so neither has Penn State. This is a first test for either team. Oregon going to Penn State at night, experiencing the whiteout for the first time. But if any coach for the first time, Dan Lanning, can get them ready, prepared for that, it's him. I truly don't know who to pick. I don't know where to go with this game. I cannot see a scenario where either team wins. I don't know how either team wins. I don't think Penn State can put up enough points to beat Oregon. I don't think Oregon is going to put up a lot of points in Happy Valley. Penn State is 3.5. They need a big win. James Franklin has to win the big game. He wins all the ones he should. He never wins the ones that he shouldn't. This is one of those games. I still don't think he gets it done. I think Oregon goes into Happy Valley, and I think they walk away with a win and ends the great week of college football that we have. College football's the best, guys. Just looking at all those games, it just gets me so excited. I know that Saturday, got a JV game, away JV game. Get on the bus, get home, me and the kid all weekend long, and I know that I'm excited to watch some football with him. I know he's excited to watch some football with me, and that's what we're going to do Saturday is watch some great games. And then we're going to go to bed Saturday night, and we're going to wake up Sunday morning, and we are going to have some NFL football at 9:30 a.m. with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are 2-1. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 2-1, coming off a win in New England. And if I were to tell you that if I were to tell you that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to score on their first two possessions, be it 14-0 after the first two possessions, force 5 turnovers, and still win the game in the fourth quarter on a last Steelers drive and stopping them on a fourth down, I wouldn't be shocked at all. It's typical of Steelers football. We can't get out of our own way. We can't have just 1 week of dominating a team. You scored in your first 2 drives. You couldn't score again until the very last one. You forced 5 turnovers. We couldn't capitalize on those any more than we did. TJ Watt finally showed up for the first time in the last 6 Steelers games. Cam Hayward has been playing really well this season. The big contract holdout, after calling out Rodgers, after TJ getting his money, but Cam's played really well, and Cam played extremely great. This one, I think, one of Cam Hayward's best games. TJ Watt all over the field. Those young guys in the secondary played really well. The defense did everything that they could, and the Steelers still only won 21-14. And I know it's the NFL and that's what happens. But it's just so annoying that you can't have just 1 week where it's like we took care of business. We did what we were supposed to. It's frustrating. I'm not shocked at all. Welcome to being a Steelers fan. Thursday, the Bills beat the Dolphins. Much closer game than I expected. Mike McDaniel saved his job for one more week. I still think that he's closer to the end, though, than not. The Browns, of course, they get their first win against the Packers, one of the best teams in the NFL so far. A game where I thought the Packers should dominate. And the Packers had a chance to win it. Browns blocked a field goal. Browns got the ball back. Browns scored. And the field goal blocking is going to become a very big trend this week. Colts, Titans, 41-20. I mean, the Colts are 3-0. They finally punted, by the way. Jonathan Taylor's playing out of his mind. Jonathan Taylor might be the best running back in the NFL this year. He's playing better than Saquon. He's playing better than Derrick Henry. He is really, really good. If he stays healthy, this Colts team, one, plays in such a weak division that they're going to make the playoffs, and two, like Danny Dimes resurrected. Bengals, Vikings, 48-10. I mean, Carson Wentz played like vintage Carson Wentz the year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl the first time before he got hurt. It's amazing. It's amazing, that game, that result. I expected like a 13-10 type of stinker with two bad quarterbacks playing, but again, Wentz played well. And Mason, the Minnesota running back who stepped up really well with Aaron Jones being out. Aaron Jones might not get that spot back, and then Justin Jefferson finished with 575. You know, it's as a Justin Jefferson dynasty fantasy owner, it's very frustrating, and but you know, he does what he needs to do to win. Expect a big game from Justin Jefferson here soon, though, like 100+ yard game, 2 touchdowns. So if you're a fantasy guy like me and you have Justin Jefferson, don't get too disheartened. Keep them around. It's going to be okay. Eagles, Rams. First off, the bad beat of this. So what? The Rams are like plus 4.5. So they make the field goal. They win the game. Doesn't matter. You obviously win your bet. They miss the field goal. Doesn't matter. You'll only lose by 1 or 2 or whatever it was that they were down by. Cool, right? The kick gets blocked. It's okay. As long as it doesn't get scooped up. And rammed down the field. And ran down the field and scored on. And that's what happens. Rams going to kick a game-winning field goal, gets blocked, ends up as a touchdown. The 4.5 goes away. They end up losing by 7. So they're obviously down by 1 at that point. What a great second half by the Eagles, too, by the way. Like, they were down 19-7 in the first half. The Rams, start off strong with the third quarter. And the Eagles, 14 in the third, 12 in the fourth, dominated that second half. Got that win. I hate to say it, but the Eagles are really, really good. They're resilient. They don't quit fighting. I still wish that the tush push was called right. I still wish the tush push was fair, and it's not fair. It does have to get fixed still, but the Eagles are really, really good. I wanted the Rams to win that game. I was rooting for the Rams to win that game, and the Eagles found a way to do it, and they found a way to break the Rams' heart and people who bet on it. The Bucs and the Jets were this close to their first one. They block a field goal in the last minute. They scoop it up. They return it for a touchdown. But they leave enough time for the Bucs to go out there, get in field goal range, and score. And Emeka Egbuka is good. I mean, obviously we watch Egbuka play a lot of football. He's never been this explosive, like, in a long time. And last year when you had Jeremiah Smith, he started to kind of show shades of that again. But Baker and Egbuka are going to feed families for a long time. Mike Evans is out for a good amount of weeks. Chris Godwin comes back, which is fine. Like, Godwin's going to be okay next to Egbuka. But Egbuka, as I think cemented this guy, is like the Bucs number 1, even when Mike Evans comes back. And that trio of those three is fun. Commanders, Raiders. Commanders blow them out. I'm not shocked. I'm shocked with the fact that they didn't have Jane Daniels. He needs to get healthy. He needs to get right. The Commanders are 2-1, and it feels like that season. It feels weird for them just because it just doesn't feel like they are a good 2-1 team. They are better, and then they're not as good as what their record shows either, though. Jane Daniels has to get ready. He has to get better. Falcons, Panthers. I mean, this might be the worst loss in Falcons history. You lose to the Panthers by 30. The friggin' Panthers have a bigger blowout win than the Steelers do. That's so annoying. So annoying. The Penix, 2 picks, 172 yards. I don't think you go back to Cousins at all, but that offense has to get going because it hasn't. And if you're Bijan Robinson, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time on the team. Jags 17-10 over the Texans. I don't know what's wrong with the Texans. I don't know what's wrong with C.J. Stroud. Whatever they did to him after his first year needs to be studied because he had such a great rookie year, and all of last year and this year so far, just a shell of what he was at Ohio State, just a shell of what he was at that first year. I mean, they're 0-3. Obviously, it's not possible to make the playoffs still, but they have to start winning some games. They have to figure out they have to score some points because they just don't score points. They don't move the ball. You expected Mixon to be a good running back, and he's hurt this year. And then Chubb, he has his okay runs, but the run game just doesn't feel effective. It feels like it's almost like trying to get forced to Nico, and maybe that's the problem. Like you lost Tank, you lost Diggs, like you never got that trio of Collins and Diggs and Tank Dell and the run game with Mixon and Chubb as his backup. You never got any of that, and Dell's out still this year, and Diggs is in New England. Like there's not any continuity for Stroud, and he just in the pocket. The pocket collapses on him, and he collapses. They have to figure it out. They have to figure out fast, or their season's going to be over very soon. Chargers 23-20 over the Broncos. Broncos, rough start, 1-2. But again, the Chargers are just really good too. Najee tore his Achilles. But, I think the Chargers are good. The Chargers are contenders to play well and win some games this year. And make a playoff run and might be the team to beat in the AFC West. Like, they might be better than the Chiefs. And that's hard to say because the Chiefs have been dominant for so long. Seahawks, Saints. The Saints are really bad. We know that the Seahawks are actually, I think, really good. That first week loss to the Niners, I think, was a fluke. I think if they played that game again, the Seahawks win it. And they're putting up some points. Sam Darnold looks good again, just like last year. And JSN, just like Ibuka. Looks explosive. It's those Ohio State guys, man. It's amazing. Draft Ohio State receiver, you look good. Cowboys, Bears, best game Caleb Williams has ever played by far. Looked great, and that Ben Johnson offense put up a lot of points, was explosive all the way around. Luther Burden looked good. The run game was explosive, and Caleb dominated. Caleb played like Caleb did at USC, and the Cowboys, after losing the Eagles, barely beating the Giants, losing the Bears, they just might not be very good either. They're not going to win a lot of games. I think it's going to be hilarious too. And they're going to have games where they're going to put up 30 and might lose. I mean, it might be that bad for them. Cardinals and Niners. The Niners are like the worst 3-0 team I've ever seen. The Niners feel like all three of their wins, versus the first Seattle week 1, whoever jabroni team they played last week, and the Cardinals, like, they're 3-0. They shouldn't be 3-0. It doesn't feel like a good 3-0 team. I think the season's going to topple on them very soon. Because I just don't see a lot of talent on the team. Everybody's hurt. Always. And even when they're healthy, there's just not enough there for sustainability. But right now, they're grinding some wins out. 16-15 over the Cardinals. Chiefs, Giants. The Chiefs finally got their win, 22-9 over the Giants. If I'm being honest with you, it might be time to move on from the Chiefs this year. Mahomes is going to do good things. But that offensive line is still bad. Travis Kelce, it seems like a distraction every time he doesn't get the ball. The receivers are not what they should have been explosive like they should have been. It's going to be a very long season for the Chiefs. And then Lions, Ravens, real quick. The Lions find a way at the end, win 38-30. Explosive run game from Montgomery, from Gibbs. Mark Andrews played well. Lamar played well. But Lamar cannot play defense, and that team is not going to win games if they don't start getting stops, especially in the fourth quarter. Derrick Henry fumbling the ball again. It might be a long season for the Ravens if their defense does not play better, and that brings us to next week. And there's a lot of good games, and we're going to talk about all of them, but the one we're going to talk about first is your I skipped a week again. There we go. Week four. The game we're going to talk about first is your 4:25 CBS game in Kansas City, Missouri. The 1-2 Chiefs at the hosting the 1-2 Ravens. One of those teams is going to fall to 1-3. One of those teams that is expected to be Super Bowl contenders is going to start 1-3. When they both should be 3-0 going into it, they're not, and they're going to lose this game. One of these teams has, at their season, is going to feel very, 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 very far away from being contenders, because if the Ravens lose and the Steelers win, you're 1-3 and 3-1. Chiefs lose and the Chargers win, you're 1-3 versus 4-0. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility, because as we're looking at these games, Seahawks Cardinals on Thursday night, give me the Seahawks. They're going to win that game. It's 1.5. They're going to win it, I think, decently. Vikings Steelers. I don't think Carson Wentz plays like that 2 weeks in a row. I think the Steelers win that game in Dublin, 9:30 a.m. Will it be close? Of course it'll be close, because it's what the Steelers do. But I think they win that game. Commanders Falcons. Commanders need this win. They're going to win that. Bills Saints. The Saints are awful. The Bills are really good. The Bills. Browns Lions. The Browns don't beat two great NFC teams in a row again. The Lions win this one. And the Lions, after a really bad game for the Packers week, won 2 in a row, and 2 in a row against some good teams, and especially after last night's win, I think that they showed that they deserve to be one of the best teams in the NFC, and I think if they got the Packers again, do the Packers win it? Maybe, but it's a much closer game. The Lions are good. They finally figure out. Panthers Patriots. I like the Patriots to win that one, respond back. Chargers Giants. This is what I'm saying. The Chargers playing the Giants. What's his name is going to start for the Giants. Jackson Dart is going to get his first start, play for the Giants this week. They're going to bench Russ for a week and go with Jackson Dart, see what he does. I think he can do okay. I'm excited to see what he does, but I still think the Chargers get it done, and they're going to be 4-0 after this. Eagles Bucks. This is such a fun game. It's in Tampa. I want the Bucks to do it. I hope the Bucks do it. I'm going to go with the Bucks just so I can see the Eagles lose, but I would be surprised either way. And then it's like Texans Titans, 0-3 versus 0-3, right? Like, the Texans need this one bad. The Titans are not playing for much this year other than experience. Try to get some guys, some playing time. Cam Ward, see what he has. The Texans need this win. CJ Stroud has to play good. I think he does, and I think the Texans get their first win. Rams Colts, what a fun game too. The Colts are going to Inglewood, going to SoFi. They're going to California. I think that, Danny Dimes has played really well. I expect a really competitive game. I expect a lot of points. I just don't think the Rams are bad enough to where they're going to lose 2 in a row. And the Colts are due for to slip up eventually now. Give me the Rams, but it's a close, fun, high-scoring game. Jags, Niners, it's another one. The Jags, 2-1. They're going to the Niners. The Niners are not good. They're 3-0. This is a game, too, though, that they can win. They can win, and they're going to be 4-0 if they beat a bad Jags team. It's like they're playing the easiest schedule I've ever seen, and it just annoys me that this team is going to be 4-0 with how bad they are, with how injured they are. I want the Jags to win. I just don't see it happening. I think the Niners are going to be 4-0 after that game. We talked Ravens-Chiefs already. I think the Ravens are the better team. Maybe the Chiefs have figured it out. Give me the Chiefs because it's in Kansas City. It's at Arrowhead. Bears, Raiders. I'm excited to see how the Bears respond. Can they get 2 big wins in a row, 2 big amount of points? Give me the Bears. Packers, Cowboys, Sunday Night Football in Texas at AT&T Stadium. I'm going high-scoring affair, and Micah Parsons is going to get a key sack in the fourth quarter to seal that game for the Packers. And it's going to be hilarious because then they're going to show Jerry Jones, who's going to be oblivious to it, the fact that he got rid of that guy. And then these 2 Monday Night Football games are just hilarious. The Jets 0-3 hosting or going to Miami, playing the Dolphins 0-3. Both teams need a win. Miami needs to win to keep Mike McDaniels their job. The Jets just need to win because they're changing a lot of things within that culture. They play hard. They play resilient. If Justin Fields plays, I think the Jets get it done. If he doesn't, give me the Dolphins and Mike McDaniels survives one more week. And then the Bengals and the Broncos. The Broncos get it done. The Bengals are just not good. They're going to start losing a lot of games without Joe Burrow. And it's almost kind of sad with how good Jamar Chase was last year in that offense, and now you don't have your guy again. But Welcome to the NFL. Injuries can change everything for a lot of teams, and other teams get lucky by playing teams with no injuries. And then you could be like the Niners, who have the worst injury luck ever and still be 3-0 and chance to go 4-0 because of who you play. And they can't control that. I know that. I'm just being the biggest Niners hater. I'm being the biggest Eagles hater. I just want to see those teams lose. And, hopefully that happens for both those teams this weekend. All right, there you have it. Another 40-minute just talking college football, talking NFL. There's so many fun games every single week. It's like as soon as you have one great week, especially with the NFL, these matchups just over and over just seem to get better and better and more fun. I'm really excited to spend this weekend with my kid as he learns to love football, hopefully as much as I do. Hopefully make some money on some of these games. Another clean sweep in fantasy football. I'm hoping 10-0 last week, by the way. Every league, clean sweep, even the Chop League, we survived one more week. And so college football too, like there's just so many good games all day long on Saturday from the moment, game day ends at noon through the whole evening. TV's going to be on, football's going to be on. It's going to be a fun day in the Sabo household. And so I hope you enjoy watching the football games as much as I do. Thank you again for your watching of this. These football episode ones, this is where I'm trying to not be just boring. It can be better. And so some different episodes along the way to keep that sustainability, that is the goal. But thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Leave your reviews, leave your comments, leave your 5-star ratings wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, wherever you're supporting. I appreciate it. I can't say that enough, and I'll say it over and over and over again because I really am grateful for the amount of people that have watched this, that are watching, or that are listening. It means a lot, and we'll build this up. We'll build, and keep setting a standard of excellence. And like Mike Tomlin always says, the standard is the standard.